MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell went whining and crying to Alex Jones this week about his company allegedly collapsing because banks have decided to either completely cut his credit or cut it down to a point where it's not even really useful for a man trying to run a multi-million-dollar pillow empire. Here is what Mike Lindell told Alex Jones this week. And of course, he thinks he knows what's really behind the banks turning against him. I had vendors get very nervous and banks get very nervous about my bills. They're calling me up. I said, no, that doesn't even go into court till next year. Well, then when American Express did this 2 weeks ago, Alex, it's vendor after vendor I've had to meet with. They want to pull their credit lines. And he says, of course, American Express cut his credit from $1 million down to $100,000. He continues. Instead of 120, you have 60 days where you're basically collapsing a whole company. So I've had to meet with individual vendor and give them peace of mind saying, hey, we're here to stay. If you do this, you do collapse us like American Express is trying to do. And it's just terrible attack. But it's not his fault, right? Because he also told Alex Jones that it was all because, or at least partially because, Fox News made what he calls a dirty deal with Dominion Voting Systems to pay them roughly $800 million to settle the defamation lawsuit. Mike Lindell believes that big settlement, when he himself is facing a lawsuit from them, is a good indication that Lindell is going to be hit for possibly hundreds of millions of dollars, and they don't want their lines of credit, I guess, being used to pay off a settlement, or they don't believe he'll be able to pay them back because he won't have any money because it's all going to be used to pay off these settlements. So, honestly, Mike, I don't disagree with that theory. I mean, to be real with you, I don't think that banks are looking at your looming legal problems and thinking, oh yeah, this is a guy who would give him $1 million. Why not? No, if I were a bank, and thank God I'm not, I'd be like, dude, you're not getting anything until these lawsuits are over with. Like, once we know that you have financial stability, doesn't matter what you have at this moment, because next year, as you point out, you got a lot of things coming up. Once those are over with and you can prove to us you have financial stability, I'd be more than happy to give you some money for your stupid pillows. But until then, limp along the best you can. Lindell also, of course, went on to whine about the fact that retailers pulled his stuff off the shelves and that hurt his business, he said, even though he had previously told us that, no, my business is doing great even with these people pulling it off the shelves. That hasn't hurt us at all. He boasted earlier this year, like, no, we're financially great. And then he was like, we're not, but we are, but we're not. So he's really kind of ping-ponged back and forth about whether or not he is or is not in financial dire straits with MyPillow. But none of that matters. All that matters is what will happen to him after those defamation lawsuits finally go to trial. Like, honestly, I'm kind of shocked that it is taking this long. I mean, kind of seems a little straightforward. Probably could have reduced that timeline just a little bit. But either way, Lindell's got problems, and now, and more frequently, he's willing to admit that things are not good in the MyPillow kingdom. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.